everybody, to Advanced Manifestation Communities live training that we're doing this week. I'm Cory Michelle, and I'm really excited to bring this topic to you today because one of our Transform Yourself members asked this the other day, and I thought it was such a great question that we should do a whole video on it today. So, you know that I talk a lot about getting into your future self, right? Your future self is where it's at. Your future self has the wisdom. Your future self is who you're becoming already. No matter how much you want to resist it or deny it or don't know or whatever, your future self is where it's at. So we're going to dive into the question, hold on a second. I lost my page here. So funny. Oh, goodness gracious. Facebook, every time you do this, Facebook does like funny things. So let me know below if you're live. Hi, give me a hi. And there we go. There's the page I'm looking for, because some of your comments I can see and some of your comments I cannot see. Okay, how can I be this version of me? Topic for today: how can I be this version of me who doesn't have it yet? How can I be that version of me who has it when I don't have it yet? Okay, does that make sense? How can I be the version of me who has it, your target, your desire that you want to have manifest, when you don't have it yet? Okay, I'm going to give you a secret here today. Okay, and it is all about rewiring the way you think about yourself and the way you think about reality. Because here's what I've discovered. Okay, what I have discovered. Okay, now I can see your comments. Hello. All right, fantastic. Yeah, Marion is the one who asked, and now she's saying, I'm so grateful for this. I keep blowing my head out with this one. All right, hopefully today will help. So hello, everybody else that has joined. Okay, so here's the first thing we have to look at is we have to have a whole perspective about reality shift. Okay, we can't think of reality the way you think it is, the way we've been taught it is, and also linear creation, which is I need to do this and this and this, and then I will have it. That's the main belief that's running around out there in the world. If I do this, then I will have that. Okay. If I be the right energies, then I will have the manifestation. If I whatever, then I will. That's all of how we learn in school. If I get good grades, then I'll pass to the next level. If I get a good job, then I'll have money. That's linear creation. That's the way this, what I call the 3D control matrix, has convinced everybody to create. This is how we all create. This is how we all believed that we create. But it's a lie. It's not true. There are some things that you can create that way, but what happens is burnout, illness, things start to self-destruct. They're not fun anymore. You get worn out. There's no creativity in, if I just do the right thing, then this will show up. That is absolutely not the way to create for what I call energetic creators. If you're somebody who creates on the energy, if you're intuitive, if you've been looking at manifestation for a long time, if you've manifested a lot of things, if you've had miracles already show up in your life, if you're creative anyway, you're likely, and if you're more interested in the experience than the actual thing, right? If you like, especially with money, and this is a big one I ask a lot of my clients, is are you more interested in what money will create for you, or are you more interested in actually having money? There are some people out there who just like with money, they're like, yep, I want the money, and they'll go create whatever to have the money, and they want the money. But for so many empaths and creative, energetic creators, people in the spiritual world, we don't really care about the money. We want the experience. We want what money will get us. And that's one way to know that you're an energetic experiential creator versus a linear creator. So once we start going, okay, so this linear construct isn't actually the way you work, we have to have a perspective shift. There has to be an epiphany in your world to say, oh, the reason none of this other stuff really worked for me was because I don't function like that. That's not the way I actually work. Okay, once we sort of get that out of the way and you have that awareness in your world, then we can move on to, okay, so how do you work? Well, if you already work with energy, then this concept can be an eye opener and really give you a lot of freedom. All right. If you tune in right now, tell me what you want in the chat. What do you want to manifest? Tomorrow, what do you want to manifest? Long term in the next year? It doesn't matter. What's something you want to manifest? And hello, everybody joining us. Hi, hi, hi. What do you want to manifest? What do you want to have in your experience? And if you're in one of the programs, what are you targeting for? We call them targets because it's less significant. Okay. I want to create the money. Okay. And I use it to create new possibilities. Okay. Still linear. I want to create the money to have the thing. Okay. I want a new home, great business partner to open a wellness center. All right. Okay. So you want the things to, and even that with you, Edie, you're saying a great business partner to do the thing. So you think you need this thing in order to have what you want to have. Okay. That's linear creation. That's a linear thought. And that's how we're taught. And this is the unprogramming that I help people with. And this is a deep one. This isn't something you just get overnight. Typically, I work with people for 3 years and more on really getting into how you uniquely create, because we've been so entrained and brainwashed into thinking that this linear way of creating is the way that we create. Okay. So this might be an epiphany that sort of circles around in your world for a while. This time I would just like to have more money. Okay, what's money going to give you? So we got to get into the experience. What do you think the money is going to get you that you don't have right now? Okay. What is the experience of life with a lot of money, or the kind of money that you want to have? And money is just such an easy one, right? And when you get this, money becomes a lot easier because it's never actually about the money. People hate when I say that. It's never about the money. It's never about the money, ever. 500 a month or 5,000 a month, right? Joyful days, more spontaneous choices. Okay, I want to be able to choose more spontaneous things. I want to be able to contribute more. I want to be able to whatever, right? Here's what you want to look at is right now, if you're not driving, of course, if you think about what's it like, what's it going to be like having that right now? What's it going to be like having it? What's it going to be like? Can you tune in to what it's going to be like having what you think you want? Having that desire, having the money, having the better health, having the, invites to be on podcasts, whatever. Exhilarating, freeing, fun, my body tingles. Okay. All right. You just manifested it. You manifested the experience with your body in this moment. Did it take getting the business partner to embody the energies of the wellness center already manifest? No, you can do it right now. You can tune into the energy right now. You just went through the quantum field to manifest the energetics of that creation experienced right now. So the question, how can I act as if I have it when I don't have it yet? You have access to the energetics at any moment. Why? Because you're not a human being in a linear process of time. You're not that. You have a human body and you have a human perspective of reality, but you're not a human being that's working through time linearly. You are infinite consciousness embodied as this version of you in this identity right now that has a whole bunch of beliefs about reality. Okay. These beliefs about reality are what filter all of the millions and millions of bits of information that you're getting all day long, filtering through to say, this is your reality. See, this is your reality. See, because we've been told that this is how we need to do things. We need this before we get that. Is it true? No, it's not true. Because you just physically manifested it in your energetic experience in a moment, a nanosecond. That's how you get into the feeling, the energetics, the perception of having it before it's physically manifest. Okay. And I call this 5D creation because you have to get out of the programming that this reality is even real if you want to have quantum jumps. This reality isn't real. This reality is literally a teeny tiny percentage of your filter filtering down to what you perceive and who you be. So who you be in grandness and who you have access to being is humongous. You might have 3% access to all the information, maybe all the information, and all of you. So when we start really looking at this and going, well, wait a second, if my perspective is filtering through the reality that is showing up for me, and I have this perspective that I learned from someone else, aka school or whatever, which is if you know, you know, school was created to entrain people to be good workers and to obey. Okay, that's all school is. School was not created for education. School was not created to teach you how to live a good life. We all know this, right? Okay, what was school really created for? Well, you can do some research and you can find out what schools were really created for. Go back in time. This is part of the waking up process. You've got to be able to start seeing the matrix. You've got to be able to start untangling yourself from what you've been taught as real and question everything. Everything, even your own perspective. Not from a doubt perspective, but like, hey, is this actually true? Is this actually true that I need this to do that? Is it? When you start really being in the question of your reality, then you can start bending your reality. You can start having quantum jumps because you stop believing the things that you think are real and because they're not. So the fact that we're trained to not believe that something has manifest until it's physically tangible, and then that's when the success happens. It's completely inaccurate, and that's why most people are totally messed up with their creation process. Is because they're trying to do it the way they were taught, and the way they were taught was incorrect. So if we start to remember this and go, okay, so and the way you can tell if it's incorrect for you is it working? Now, one of the places people often will start head tripping with, well, it used to work. Well, I did all the things in school and then I got into the good college and then I got the good job, but then I got sick. Yeah. Because you're doing things in a linear way and your spirit wants the creation, the creative explosion, wants you to follow your awareness, not follow the rules. The rules say, do this, then that. Creation and your awareness says something totally different. Okay. Now, there have been so many things in my life that I've manifested by tuning into them. One of them was going to Bali. I saw a picture of a swimming pool, an infinity pool in Bali, and it was so beautiful. I love swimming pools. I love infinity pools. I love them. You could see the rice paddies beyond, and there was this beautiful little hut, not a hut, but like I don't know. I don't know what it was, but a building. But the whole thing was just like, oh God, that's so beautiful. I would love to be there. And in that moment, I just was like, oh, I could feel myself there. I could feel how warm the air was and how warm the water was, and looking up at all the trees and everything. I had the whole experience in the moment just by looking at a picture. I just manifested that for myself. But our brains say, no, you didn't. You didn't actually go to Bali. I had the whole experience just by tuning into the picture. Can you do that? Guess what? I ended up there about a year later. Turns out it was the exact same pool. I did not go looking for the name of the pool. The name of the pool wasn't even on the picture, or the resort. It wasn't there. I ended up there. Consciousness led me to, I think every place in Bali on the whole island has a swimming pool. Out of probably thousands and thousands and thousands, 100,000 swimming pools, I ended up at the one picture I saw. Why? That's how the quantum works. Okay. I've done it so many different times. I did it again in Bali. Bali is a special place in my heart. I did it for another one where there's in Bali there's a swimming pool that it's called the Edge, and there's a swimming pool over the edge of a 500-meter cliff. I think that's pretty high. Maybe it was a 500-foot cliff. It was pretty high, but not like crazy high. Anyway, I was like, "I'll have that," and I was just, like, remembering how much anxiousness I would be, like, looking down because I had a glass bottom. I'd be looking down going, okay, and I'm, like, having this whole experience putting myself in that pool and going, "Oh my god, this would be so amazing." And I would be nervous at the same time because that's a little freaky for me. And, about a year and a half later, I ended up at that pool. Now, there was a little bit more planning to that because I actually knew the name of the pool. And then I organized, we go on a trip. Well, we were going on a trip every year called Magic Camp to Bali. And I organized for the whole group to go there. So everybody got to have that experience. Okay. Now, this level of I call it advanced manifestation. It's advanced. It's not your regular sort of, "I need to manifest this, so here's all the things I'm gonna do right." Right? That's a lot of what we're taught in law of attraction and the tricks and tips, and then you're gonna write everything down, and yeah, some of those things really work, and some of those things really complement. But the biggest thing is you've got to know how to go to your future energetically. Now, I call it backwards creation. We go to the future and then return. Now, I have a whole process, a whole course, a whole like 8-week course that teaches you how to do this because it's when you really get how to do it, you can do it every single time and your whole life will have a quantum leap. Not just manifest this one thing. Because it's really what we're looking at is an identity upgrade. Your whole identity has to upgrade. This is just one aspect, right? One aspect of many different aspects that we go into. How do we keep the manifesting alive long enough to energetically experience in order to have it? Okay, even that is a great question, but it's a linear question. Okay. And by the way, Marion, I'd love to answer this more in depth in the course you paid for, in the transformation course, because I can actually work with you on it, or one of our coaches can. Okay. But it's a great question to start looking at. But this is the work that we do with people. We have to switch around the way your mind has been wrapped around itself backwards. You see, there's so many lies we've been told about this reality, about ourselves, that are completely untrue. We've been told we're humans. We've been told to sit down and obey. We've been told all these things. And if you're in my space, and hopefully you've had some awakenings on some levels, we're emotionally manipulated by the TV, the news, the media, the governments, emotionally manipulated all the time, which is why energetic mastery and emotional mastery is so essential to manifestation and having quantum jumps. You've got to be able to remove yourself from reacting to external stimuli like the news, like world events. Now, some people are like, "Oh, Cory, you're so heartless." Most of what's being promoted and regurgitated out there is not the truth. It's just not. And it's designed to get you involved emotionally so that you're not putting your energy, your valuable energy, into your reality and creating what you want to create in your reality, what you see as possible for our collective reality. It distracts us, just like when you go into a movie. If you're in a good movie, it's going to take you for a ride, and you might be angry and you might be crying and you might be screaming at the screen, "Don't go in there." We're invested. Okay. Now, movies are great, but if we're living like the movie is real, then you have a lot of energy going to things that aren't really creating for you. They're creating for someone else, whoever's agenda that is, that's got your energy wrapped up in it. Now, if you focus your energy on what you want to have every single day, multiple times a day, you'll see a change. And if you want, and if your head is going in other places and not to what you want to be creating, then that's what we can help you with. We can help you dial in your manifestation so that you have a quantum leap. Okay. So you're not just like, well, I created that. Now I got to create the next thing. You have a quantum leap. And what a quantum leap looks like is you're now living the expression of that future fully in your life. There is no old version of you that's accessible anymore. I can't go back to the old version of me. It doesn't exist. When you have a quantum leap or quantum jump, you've actually become that new identity, that next version of you. Okay. And that's really where I think creation is going, especially for all of you guys and the people in the world who have been studying this for a long time. But I even see people that have just awakened a couple of years ago to using their energy to manifest their lives. And it's like crazy what can happen in a very short amount of time. So you think you need XYZ. Do you really? Is that really what's required? And it's not about bypassing, steps, because there are actions involved. There were actions involved for me to get to Bali. I had to buy a ticket. I had to notice when the awareness of the right opportunity came. It wasn't that I just booked a ticket to Bali. Somebody invited me to go to a retreat in Bali that I really liked. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go to that retreat. And so it happened very synchronistically. So you can live your life following your awarenesses with targets that you want to manifest, that guide you. So if this is calling your name, you're like, okay, this is definitely something I want to get deeper into. I would highly recommend having a chat with us and seeing if the transformation program is for you. And I think the biggest thing about the transformation program that we offer is a customized transformation experience. It's not just a class. It's not just a program you're going to do online, like a self-study. It's like 10% of people even finish self-study transformation programs. Why is that? Because you get stuck. Life happens. You get sucked into some drama that you've always been sucked into, and then you get distracted and you don't ever finish. And then it institutes the story of it doesn't work. I see it happen all the time. And that's why we've created a whole transformation experience where we take you through a whole transformation, and we support you with coaching. We support you with live group coaching. We support you with the modules that take you through each process. Okay. And really bring you through to the other side of building out this next version of you who trusts yourself, who starts to know how you uniquely create, because that's where the power is, knowing how you uniquely create. The power is not in trying to figure out how to get right, but that's what we've been taught. And that's part of what keeps us all wrapped up in our head of why things don't work. Okay. Now, one of the other things we really deal with is people pleasing. Okay. So lots of us have, especially empaths, people that have had abusive parents or critical parents or things like that in their past, families growing up like that. We oftentimes are people pleasers, and we have to stop people pleasing. We have to stop. And in our minds, it doesn't even make sense of like, how do I stop doing that? It feels mean. It feels like I'm being nasty, right? Because that's what we were told, right? If we don't do things to please the people, to make the other people happy, then we're the ones that are going to be the assholes. It's not true. So that's part of what we start to uncover and dissolve, is that this people pleasing and always looking for that external validation. Okay. Because you're the one with the power. Making other people happy like that in the people pleasing sort of way isn't ever going to fulfill on the manifestations that you want, because you're always going to look outside of yourself. And that's the way we're trained as people pleasers, right? The conditioning. Anyway, so we talk a lot about that too over the course, but we dive into your own intuition and following and trusting yourself, following through on what you know, tuning into the energetics, being able to attune your energy to what you want every single day, so that it starts literally manifesting in your real reality. Yeah, I can say honestly in 2 weeks that the energies have already shifted significantly from Marion there. That's awesome. It happens fast because what we do is we take you through an embodiment exercise of your future self. So we go to your future self, you go to your future self, and then we start reverse engineering through a very specific process to bring those awarenesses through. So some of the most deepest work that I've ever done And it gets us out of, if you're tired of chasing what you want, if you're trying to be right about doing the things in the order, if what you're wanting isn't showing up, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you shouldn't have it. It's because you're energetically not attuned to it, in tune with it. And we can lead you through a process that'll help you get there so that you can have everything that you ask for, everything that you dream of. There's no reason why well, there are many reasons actually why you might think you don't get to have what you want, but there's no real reason in consciousness why you can't, like no real reason. We have excuses, justifications, stories, this never happened before, those sorts of things. But in consciousness, there's no real block there. We make up those blocks based on what I call the 3D control matrix and how most of us have been conditioned, especially the Gen Xers. All right. So if this conversation is pinging you and you're like, yeah, I really want to learn how to do this, give me a message. I'll send you the link to get on a chat with Lydia, and we can see if the transformation program is right for you. Okay. We don't take everybody in this program. It's not right for everybody. And it really is, that call is really an application to see if this is something we could actually help you with, because we specifically work with people who have been working on manifesting a while. So if you're new to manifesting, might not be the right program for you because it is advanced level. But if you have for a while and what you want isn't showing up, we can help you get there in a very short amount of time. All right. Oh, that's so awesome. Sylvia says, oh, that's so awesome, Sylvia. I did that exercise with you in 2009, and 6 months later, I achieved that future me. Time to up-level my desires. Yeah, it works, and it works every time. Because the reason it works is because you start to know how you create. That's it. Because right now, if those things aren't showing up, and you're like, how do I act as if I have it? You don't know how you create yet. And I say yet because you will. And if you're here, you already want that, right? Like, I don't think anybody would be here if they didn't want that. It's very powerful, and it's a very different reality to live in, because the external reality, everything going on in the news and all that stuff, doesn't matter anymore when you have claimed your energetic sovereignty and put a priority on your life of you. It sounds selfish, but that's all there is when you really start to see how this reality works. All right, you guys. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any of them. Is the program affordable? I don't know what affordable is to you. The program is worth it. The program is 8 weeks of your life to transform your life. Worth it. If that calls you, give me a message, and then you can apply. All right. Thanks, you guys. I love this conversation. Thank you, Marianne, for the question. I wonder what else is available for you, and tuning into the energies and having it before you think you actually have it. All right. Bye, guys.